John McCain's latest book tells the stories of 13 soldiers, one from each major war our country has fought, from the Revolutionary War to Iraq to Afghanistan. The book comes out tomorrow to coincide with Veterans Day. Joining me right now here to discuss his latest book, U.S. Policy and much more, Senator John McCain. Senator, welcome.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Congratulations on the book. Some really incredible stories here. What inspired you to write this, and why 13 soldiers?
Well, 13 is the major conflicts that we've been in. Not all the conflicts, but the major ones. And, well, we wanted to honor the men and women who serve, but also a lesson to younger men and women, also to inspire them as well, and also to honor them. There was some wonderful people that maybe a lot of people don't know about, like Charles Black, who was an African-American who served on board ship, was in a terrible British prison, and was really a brave guy, and then years later was badly beaten in a race riot in Philadelphia. That people like one of my dear friends named Leo Thorsness, who performed incredible aviation exploits against surface-to-air missiles, AAA, and MiGs that attacked him during the Vietnam conflict as well. And so it's kind of a cross-section, women as well as African-Americans.
That's right, you have two women that you profile.
Native American named Chief Mitchell Red Cloud, who fought with Mark Salter's father in Korea. Incredible acts of heroism, but they were ordinary people, and some were, you know...
Well, some, like Oliver Wendell Holmes, not such an ordinary guy.
Boston Brahmin, to people like Charles Martin, who came from the humblest beginnings. And so it means that the thing that binds them all together is that they're extraordinary people, ordinary people who did extraordinary things.
Really incredible.
And we honor them tomorrow.
Any story in particular, any soldier that you felt like you identified with?
Well, of course, Leo Thorsness, because I was an aviator, and this is about his incredible aviation skills. But also, I identified a lot with Mark Salter's father, because...
And Mark is, of course, your co-writer on the book.
Who was in Korea. The Korean War was kind of our forgotten war, and the Chinese came down. And this Mitchell Red Cloud, who was a Native American, literally, he was wounded and asked Mark's father to tie him to a tree so he could keep firing at the Chinese while the rest of them escaped. You know, then this was a Native American from what we used to call the Winnebago tribe. They're now called the Bohunks, but just a marvelous story of people in a freezing cold with an enemy that was overwhelming them, and yet they sacrificed themselves to save their comrades. That's, you know, that's what the bravest of America is all about. And
when you're in those situations, and you certainly have been through a whole lot, when you're in those situations, is though something else takes over, that there's bravery perhaps that you never knew you had?
You know, I think part of it is, and this one common thread, both men and women and others who fought, is love of your comrades and the feeling that you have of ready to fight and die for them. At the end, there's a brave young man who's a SEAL in Iraq, and a grenade is thrown, and he could have escaped, but he threw himself on that grenade to save the lives of his fellow SEAL team members. That's only this love of one another under the most tensest, most difficult, dangerous situations knits those people together to that degree, and that's why we are the country we are.
When you think about the challenges that veterans face when they come back home, a lot of these are pretty significant, not just in terms of maybe getting a job, and we've seen higher unemployment rates for recent vets than the rest of the population, a lot of economic pressures, of course, and then, of course, we've got everything that has unfolded there at the VA. There's now an effort to rebuild, and Veterans Affairs Secretary Robert McDonnell has announced this massive restructuring today, in fact, calling it the largest in the department's history. And this whole reorganization is aiming to make it easier for veterans to get access to care and to navigate the websites. Do you think it will work? Do you think that more is needed? How do we make sure that we're doing all we can for the people that serve this country?
I think we're making a step forward, but I also think there's systemic, the Inspector General of the VA has issued a report saying there are systemic fundamental problems that still have to be addressed. Now, I think the legislation we passed and these measures, I hope, will improve the situation, but you know, our office handles cases, people who come to us who can't get help from the federal government. We have more veterans cases than all the others combined. So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. But at least we're on the right road. But when 50 veterans from Phoenix VA Hospital die because they're on a, quote, waiting list, that's not acceptable, obviously.
Much more to talk with the senator about. Senator McCain, stick with me. We'll be back right after this.
Bloomberg Television is brought to you by Acura. Let the race begin.
The all-new TLX from Acura.
Time and sales data. Split-second stats. It's so close to the options floor. You'll bust your brain box. All on Thinkorswim from TD Ameritrade.
When folks think about what they get from Alaska, they think salmon and energy. But the energy BP produces up here creates something else as well. Jobs all over America. Engineering and innovation jobs, advanced safety systems and technology, shipping and manufacturing. Across the United States, BP supports more than 250,000 jobs. When we set up operation in one part of the country, people in other parts go to work. That's not a coincidence. It's one more part of our commitment to America.
Tenacity. It drives us forward and onward. But without it, mediocrity sets in. You're left staring from the same direction. It's a perspective that only offers so much. And it's why we seek out perspectives far beyond it.
Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Call 800-983-0903 for a prospectus containing this information. Read it carefully. Distributed by Ops Distributors, Inc.
Hi, I'm Barry Sloan of NewTek, the Small Business Authority. As a small business owner, you know how difficult getting a bank loan can be. With a simple phone interview, we can pre-qualify you in 48 hours. That's why we're the nation's largest non-bank government-guaranteed lender. So whether you need $5 million or $50,000, you can count on NewTek, the Small Business Authority. Call us at 8552-THE-SBA or visit us at thesba.com.
Smart companies choose Germany. More than 99% of all companies are SMEs. SMEs that generate around 2 trillion euros in turnover annually. SMEs responsible for half of total German exports. SMEs who are world market leaders. SMEs in a Mittelstand business environment that is a model for economic growth. SMEs like yours. Germany. Smart up your business.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Still with me, Republican Senator John McCain. His latest book is called 13 Soldiers, and it comes out tomorrow. It tells the story of 13 American heroes that served in the armed forces for this country. Senator McCain, let me ask you about some other things that are going on right now, including the fact that we're sending more troops overseas. President Obama spoke to Bob Schieffer on CBS's Face the Nation yesterday, saying that the decision to double the number of troops in Iraq, quote, sends or signals, rather, a new phase. He also said, and I'm quoting here, what hasn't changed is our troops are not going to be engaged in combat. Is that a mistake?
Well, you know, what he's practicing is what we saw in the Vietnam War, and this gradual escalation, him being dragged every step of the way. Remember, he always begins, or used to, telling everybody, including our enemies, what we're not going to do. Then he says we're not going to have any boots on the ground, and then we're going to have some boots on the ground, but not many, and then we're going to have more boots on the ground, but don't worry, they're not going to be in combat. I mean, it's step by step by step. And by the way, these airstrikes are pinprick airstrikes. They're not going to change the equation on the battlefield. He has said we're going to, first we're going to I've forgotten the exact words, but and destroy ISIS. Mm-hmm. We're not going to destroy ISIS with these kind of tactics. You need boots on the ground, not the combat units, but you need people who will be exposed to combat in the form of forward air controllers, special forces, trainers of the Iraqis. You need a lot if you're going to defeat ISIS. And the longer we wait, the more ISIS solidifies its position. Mm-hmm. And by the way, controlling an area larger than the state of Indiana. And for us to have one conflict in Syria and one in Iraq, of course, is the height of insanity. Do you think ISIS respects the boundary between Iraq and Syria? Of course not. This is a failed, feckless foreign policy, national security policy, that unfortunately has put. We lost 4,000 brave Americans in Iraq, and we had it stabilized. But he had to pull everybody out. It was stabilized, and if we'd left a stabilizing force, it would have stayed that way. Now we're paying a price that, unfortunately, those who sacrificed, unfortunately, to some degree, were in vain.
That's certainly a tragedy. But what do you say to those who say, you know what, we can't look like we're going in there again. We're the Americans going in and fighting Islamic State. It needs to be this sort of organic movement that's coming, even if it isn't organic, from within, not from the U.S.
Well, my only point to them is that we can't win without having a much more significant involvement. You know, in previous wars, we used to have numerous airstrikes, previous conflicts, whether it be Desert Storm or whatever you're looking at. We are sometimes, many of our sorties are returning back, not having dropped their weapons, because we don't have anybody on the ground to identify the enemy. You've got to have people on the ground, and you've got to train these people, and you've got to do whatever is necessary if you're going to defeat ISIS. And if you don't want to defeat ISIS, fine. But most of us think that ISIS is a direct threat to the United States over time. At least that's what they say.
So not worth just having sort of half an approach. In your expected role as chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee, what do you want to be doing? What do you want to accomplish?
We want to have a strategy that is driven by what our threats to our national security are, not by the budget. We want the strategy to drive the budget rather than the budget to drive the strategy. And the sequestration, which has harmed our military so much, has to be repealed.
Okay. Senator, don't go anywhere, because I want to get your reaction to midterm elections and your thoughts on Vladimir Putin and China as we watch APEC as it's underway. Coming up, we'll have more with the Senator. I'll see you right back here in 2.
Bloomberg Television is brought to you by New York Life and Mainstay Investments. 10 independent boutiques, one long-term perspective can help your clients keep good going.
Have you ever heard about a country which offers exemption from taxes and customs duties up to 10 years, state-in-kind grants, stability of investment legislation, strong protection of investors' rights, no work permits for foreign labor, visa-free entry for citizens of many countries? Still not good enough? 30% cashback on your investments. Prosperity starts here. Invest in Kazakhstan.
You take all your business calls yourself. Sort of makes it hard to look professional or get anything done. By helping to expertly manage your incoming calls, eVoice provides you with a better way to connect, regardless of whether you're a business of 1 or 100. We connect all incoming calls to eVoice instead of directly to you. So wherever you are, at home, the office, or on the road, you'll never miss a call. Get started with your 60-day free trial now at eVoice.com. Enter promo code TV60 and get the first 60 days free.
We all think about life insurance. But when we start worrying about tomorrow, we miss out on the things that matter today. At AXA, we offer advice and help you break down your insurance goals into small, manageable steps. Because when you plan for tomorrow, it helps you live for today. Can we help you take a small step? For advice, retirement, and life insurance, connect with AXA.
Introducing the new and improved Bloomberg app for your iPhone and iPad. Financial markets change even when you're away from your desk. Bloomberg gives you a snapshot of what's moving, plus breaking news, video, and sophisticated portfolio management tools. Download the free Bloomberg application and stay ahead wherever you are. Also available on Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Phone.
Progressive Insurance here. Ever since we launched Snapshot, my life has been positively...
If you've ever considered getting a walk-in tub, we have great news.
No more cold seats. For a limited time, when you purchase a Safe Step walk-in tub, we'll upgrade your order to include our newest feature, a heated seat.
That's a $600 value, free.
But that's not all. The new and improved dual hydrotherapy system now has foot massaging jets to help soothe aching feet.
And a microbubble jet that produces bubbles so small they can penetrate pores to help remove dirt and toxins, leaving your skin ultra soft. And as always, Safe Step walk-in tubs are built to maximize safety so you can stay in your home and enjoy the comforts of bathing again.
Call the number on your screen now for more information and a free, no-obligation consultation.
Our new walk-in tub is affordable and could change your life.
Call 1-800-579-4747. That's 1-800-579-4747.
How is this new environment going to look? Do you think we're going to see any more reaching out across the aisle? Can anything get done between now and 2016?
I think so. We've got to govern. This lame duck session, if the president keeps trying to jam and Harry Reid jam things through, that's going to hurt. And the other thing that can hurt is if the president acts on immigration with executive order. If he would just wait and give us a chance, and maybe immigration reform, I'm saying maybe, could be done. If he goes ahead and acts by executive order, then it's going to poison the environment. But we can work together. We have to work together. Republicans need to show the American people that we can govern, even if the president vetoes legislation. We need to do tax reform. We need to do the XL pipeline. We need to give them a defense authorization bill. There's a lot of things we need to do that we can show the American people we can govern, and then we'll have a shot at winning the presidency in 2016.
Well, I was going to say, that sets you up for 16. Would you ever entertain the idea of getting back in there yourself?
Pale, rested, ready? No. No.
Anyone in particular?
I got the message. I got the message.
But who would you want to?
It's too early. It's too early because we need to see how. That's why campaigns matter. Mm-hmm. But I think we have a lot of good candidates, a lot of good people that across the spectrum. So we'll have a very interesting primary season. And again, your home state of New Hampshire will play a very key role since it's first in the nation, as you know.
It always does. They like you there too, Senator.
I love New Hampshire.
It's a good spot. Senator McCain, thank you so much for joining me today, and congratulations again on the book. 13 soldiers out on Veterans Day tomorrow.